I'm Wilfred McFeet. You may remember me.
No, I don't remember you. Who are you?
You may remember me from my film appearances as Lance Thunderhead, Human Dun... Fuck. You may remember me as Lance Thunderhead... Oh, fuck. Sorry. You may remember me from my film appearances as Lance Thunderhead, Human Dun... Fuck!
This is the best. I get to just watch you call yourself a dunderhead over and over again. It's brilliant.
Please tell us about the difficulties this no stone throwing law has caused you.
Can you not do that?
No stone...
Jazz hands, please.
Glass houses, a musical. This was one of those interesting videos where there were the three of us on set and normally one or two people in shot, which meant that we all got to switch around. So Mike would film, I think Mike filmed most of Alex's to camera parts.
Okay, it's looking fine now, so...
Right, ready?
Oh, no, it's not.
Whilst he was shooting that, I was shooting when his character and Alex's character were having their little dialogues. I actually need to zoom out a little bit. So we've got headspace for you.
Okay.
Damn you for being so tall. Right, we are recording.
I'm sorry, do you want me to chop off the bottom of my leg?
Just say the lines. I think that's actually worked quite well for this, because it means that we all sort of bought something a bit different.
I feel bad saying it since so much effort was put into the script and Mike in particular put so much effort into the special effects, but my favourite part of the video is and will always be Vicky playing a child, because there's just something in me that the garden shed lunatic in me finds it very just so amusing when people pretend to be short by putting their shoes on their knees.
I A, had on homemade dungarees, thank you very much, and B, I was actually sort of contorted slightly in such a way to make myself look much smaller than I am, which involved sitting on my feet with boots tied to my knees, with a jacket over so you couldn't see the join, and then I was actually almost lying back, leaning against Mike's leg.
Yeah, I was quite nervous about that. Just sort of most of Vicky's body weight just leaning up against me right next to the edge of the water. And nothing fell in the water.
Nope.
Check out cinemas this summer for Lance Thunderhead, Human Thunderhead 2. This time, it's crabs.
I know! Crabs! Yet again, the what have you syndrome of, I know, let's write something for people that we don't have, which we all do all the time. We either write for situations, for scenery, for props, or for people that we just don't have. So we do our best with what we can, and what we could do on this particular day was try and make me look as 10-year-old boyish as possible. Took me a skimming stone.
I don't even know if I can skim stones. I was taught to many years ago. Yeah. Coastline. Ah! My ankle is broken! No! Oh god, the pain!
Apart from the few bits that were scenery filmed in Swindon, it was entirely filmed on the Bath Spa University campus, which is a beautiful place to be, especially when we lucked out and got really sunny weather like that.
Yeah, I hadn't seen around the Bath Spa University campus before. It's really quite nice. Still not a real university though.
It did mean that we had, I think, probably one of the best scenery sort of locations that we've had in possibly any of our videos, and it was a very interesting experience. Much more in the way of cars and overhead noise and things that we had to take into consideration.
He's coming back. The little buggers are just driving up and down behind us to the hell of it.
But definitely, I think something that we should try and do maybe more towards, because I like being on location in places. It makes me feel official.
I really very rarely get to play the voices of authority in our sketches, so I really very rarely get to dress up in nice suits. I'm normally sort of the schlubby, hippie-ish guy, because that's kind of how I roll. But I was really excited to do this. I was excited to finally get to dress up. I just recently acquired all the composite pieces of a suit. They'd all come from different suits, but together they all formed a suit.
It was really the Voltron of Gentleman's Fall.
So I was very disappointed when we got there on the day, and it turned out to be the temperature of the sun.
A tragic tale, ladies and gentlemen, and one that affects glass homeowners. Yeah, I'm gonna...
What's the problem?
The ball of nuclear fire.
So there was a part in this video where I, as the presenter character, had to throw a piece of brick off screen, and we dub in like a sound of crashing glass later.
To do this. Right.
And Mike decided that the best place to do this would be the only part of Bar University campus that actually had precious, antiquated windows. So what you can't see in the video is that I'm standing in a field, and then 20 or 30 feet to my right is a 17th century building full of 19th century lovely stained glass windows.
Oh, it was a little less than that at one point. It was like 10 feet.
Because a little trick about sketch comedy making, bricks don't look like bricks on film unless you throw them blindly at precious things.
In my defence, I did tell Alex to stand there, and I did tell him to throw the stone. I told him to throw it the other way. Tell you what, can you go and stand on the other side of the bit I want to have in the background, and throw it in that direction, and then you can throw it as hard as you like, and it's not going to hit anything that anyone cares about. A little bit, yep. Keep going. Yes, that's beautiful.
That way.
No.
That way.
No, that way.
That way.
You're pitching it that way.
That way. To do this.
Wrong way.
Yep.
I plan to do the glass house effects the same way I did in the demo. Kind of all grey and cloudy, and maybe try and add some depth to it to look like there actually were floors inside and furniture and stuff. But I was kind of playing around with it and it didn't quite look right. And then I got one of the sliders and I turned it up to a setting which I can't quite remember, so we'll just call 11. Shiny.
Thunderhead! Can I have it out of that? Oh my god! Dead Thunderhead!
Sure. Would you like a beard?
Oh my god! Thank you so much! Oh my god! You suck! Ah!
That's my phone number and my Skype address. She'll be back.
I wasn't really a major part of this video in as much as I wasn't in it very much. I didn't have a lot to do on set. I did a bit of camera work and prompting and usual sort of set help, and it meant that I think I was actually quite distracting a lot of the time, and I think the guys did a good job of ignoring me. I'm up a tree! All I remember is that I've suddenly got very bored of sitting down and taking camera shots and everything, and then decided to go off and climb trees for a bit and generally be a distraction.
I'm up a tree!
Yay!
Oh!
No.
Oh.
Good on you guys, you put up with me.
You're welcome.
Human dunderhead. Oh no, Lance! The space aliens are coming to schlick us! What? I'll fix this. Da 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 da. And then there's some cool CGI graphics where I flip over things and punch dudes in the face. And then there's the tragic moment where my aging commandant gets killed and I have to slowly lay him to the ground. I'm sorry, Hank. His name was Hank. But looks like you're going to die now. He's like, oh, Lance, you've been such a good friend to me. Please crush those aliens with your muscles. And then I do a CGI flip to show how muscular I still am, and then go back to holding him. It's like, oh, and I'm like, sleep, old man, sleep. But he's not going to die, so I have to do the noble thing and stove his face in with a rock. Like, he goes, oh, oh, oh.
I think you've got blood and brains on your hand now. Also, the noise-making machine is gone, so let's...
Like 6 Oscars.